Baruch atah Yahuwah Eloheinu melech haolam. Hallelujah. We give praise and honor to Yahuwah as we come to you in fellowship this Shabbat, or when you're Pashat Shabbat, whenever you're celebrating Shabbat and are watching this, or in the middle of the week as you read and study together with me this Parashat Toldot. I just thank the Father for this Parashat of Toldot and the generations of what is happening between Yitshaq and Asav. So, and the different struggles and things that were going on. Hallelujah. And we praise Yahuwah for this divine opportunity, and we give him praise and honor and thanksgiving. Praise Yahuwah. And we're guarding the Torah. We're going to be guarding the Torah, and we are pursuing to know more of the Parashats. And in this Parashat in Bereshit 25:19 through 28, and that's from verse 19 to chapter 28, verse 9, and the Haftorah of Malachi, chapter 1. So, in chapter 2, hallelujah, praise you. And we're going to just go ahead and continue the revelation understanding as we speak the true name in the Paleo Hebrew, in the Shemitic Katav Ibri, a Paleo Ibri. You know that Yahuwah in his Shem of the Yod He, Vah of the modern Hebrew, of Vah in the ancient times of Belial, has the U sound in many of the words that we read, even like the word Yom has that word letter in it. And so we just want to express this, the Yahuwah. It could come in the spelling of Yahuwah, or Yahuwah. And the Yohe, Wahe, and the Wah also, they use it as a Va, depending where it's located, if it has a Mekud or not, or it has neither of Mekud, and it is a Yohe, Uhe, in the Paleo Hebrew. Okay, so as we begin now, I just want to go through it. We do not express and use the pagan words of the Catholic Latin pagan words of the LORDs, GODs, the GODSs, the J-Man, the Christi, Catholic anointed one, the pagan goddess Grace, pagan goddess Mercy, the pagan goddess Holy, the spirit of Latin, Roman Latin Greek of Spiritu, they call spirit today, and also Circe, which is Ecclesia, called out synagogue. And also that we don't have nothing against it, but we don't speak Christian or Christianity because it's supposed to be Nazir, the Nazarene, and we don't use that word, the Gentilis, because it's really the word goy or ger. So here's a little breakdown, and if you're interested in my pamphlet, the replacement theology pamphlet, you can email me at eagleshavenministry@yahoo.com, and I can give you these words and more that are in also the Torah. Hallelujah. Praise Yahuwah. So let's proceed on in the Parashat Toldot. This Parashat of the generations is an exciting Parashat, and I know you're going to enjoy it, and we're going to have a good time together, reading together. And thank you for allowing me to come into your home and fellowship with you. You can see our email address, and as well as our eagleshavenministry.com, our website, and also the eagleshavenministry@yahoo.com of the email address, as well as our address in Plano, Texas. Hallelujah. Praise Yahuwah. Thank you for allowing me. My name is Eliyahu, to come into your home and to sit and fellowship with you as you're watching through a tablet, a phone, or on your screen, on your TV screen in the internet, through YouTube. We praise Yahuwah for the opportunity to come into your home through Eagles Haven Ministry.com, or you can look at us in the YouTube if you found us by accident in HaRuachEliyahu channel, and EliyahuChannel.com will go right into EliyahuChannel.com goes right into YouTube of HaRuachEliyahu also. Praise Yahuwah. So let's go ahead and proceed, and without any more delay, and let's have some break some bread of fellowshipping with Parashat, as it is the birth of Esav and Yaakov. All right, and praise Yahuwah, hallelujah. And I just pray that the Ruach HaKadosh, where you're at, will come upon you as we begin to study together with intensification and study in depth. As it's the first time to study this Parashat, that's great. I teach a little different than the rabbinical Talmud or any form of Talmud. I teach more of more of an understanding of the Mashiach. If you believe he's to come or he's come already, but I place that more emphasis in the Shem of Yeshua. I believe is the Mashiach, and I just add these understandings and revelations. So this Parashat of Toldot, we're going to learn something of the birth of Esav and Yaakov. Praise Yahuwah, hallelujah. Let's get together and study this fellowship now. And we're going to start in chapter 25, verse 19, and that is Parak 25 and Pasuk, verse 19. And let's go ahead and begin. And this is the genealogy of Yitshaq, Abraham's son. Abraham brought forth Yitshaq. And Yitshaq was 40 years old when he took Ribqah as wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Aramean of Pagan Aram, the sister of Laban the Aramean. And Yitshaq prayed to Yahuwah for his wife, because she was barren, and Yahuwah answered his prayer, and Ribqah, his wife, conceived. And within her the children struggled together, and she said, if all is right, why am I this way? If everything's okay, and this is a Hanavi word of Yahuwah shall come to be accomplished, and as an answer of prayer, why is she having such a struggle in the womb? Are they having complications? So she went to Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples shall be separated from your body, and 1 people shall be stronger than the other, and the older serve the younger. I want us to look at something, okay? I want you to get an idea about something here. Abba answered her prayer. Abba Yah answered her prayer. Okay, she prayed. This is different than concerning Sarah and other females you see in the scriptures before that. But she asked the Father what is going on. Abba Yah answered her prayer. And it's Hebrew number 1471, which is Goyim. Well, they're going to be Goyim. Nations are in your womb. So we're coming out of the womb of Ribqah. The 2 nations. One is going to be Esav, representing evil and wrongdoing, and the lust of flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, and people pleaser, and all kinds of things we can drum up with this character that was very worldly. Even though he was a mighty man, and even though he's a great hunter, and even though he had many sons under him as well, and daughters. But the word nations is 1471, which is goi, or we would say goyim in the plural. Okay, I just wanted you to see that. So don't feel when we're calling all the goy and the goyim and the ger and the goyim and all them that are scattered from the four corners of the nations of the world, of the ethnos group. We're not gentilis, a Catholic Latin word, and I just share that with you. So if you go to a synagogue and that rabbi uses that Catholic Latin, Roman, Apostolic, Catholic, pagan word gentilis, let him know that there was an agreement with the rabbinical back in 1400 to agree to use that pagan Latin word, which is a female organ part. It is not the original Greek, nor definitely not Hebrew. Hallelujah. So there was two nations in the womb, and the older was served the younger. Hallelujah. And when the yomim were filled for her to give birth, and see, twins were in the womb. But she already knew it. She got a word from Yehovah, because she didn't know they were too big. They didn't have ultrasound. She didn't go down to the clinic and get an ultrasound. Right? She probably could feel it and know what was going on. Very large. She probably could feel the edge of the double body. But being the first time, I'm sure she asked other women. So she went to a prayer and she got her answer. But there was two children in her room, two sons, and there'll be one, the younger, the older will serve the younger. She gave a word. The father gave her a word exactly what was going to happen. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. So they called him his Shem Asaph, okay, which is red all over. All right, hairy red. All right, so he was probably like a red-headed ape man. You know, I mean, very redhead. Like you see some of those European Ashkenazi, they got hair on their arms and their chest up to their neck, and you know, pretty hairy dudes. You know, and in verse 26, Esav. It's not Esau, it's Esav, because it's got the ayin for the first letter of that alphabet. So in the Hebrew alphabet, and in Hebrew 62:15, it is, yes, they call him red, like he's hairy garment, it says, but is rough handling. So it was rough handling. That's Esav. Okay. And afterward his brother came out with his hand holding on to Abba Abraham. So his name was called Yaakov. And Yitshaq was 60 years old when she bore him. 20 years have gone by. All right? 20 years have gone by. He was 60 years old. He was 40 years old when he took her in the tent. And now he is 60. Okay? And the boys grew up, and Asaph became a man knowing how to hunt, and a man of the field, while Yaakov was a complete man dwelling in tents. Mama's boy? But he still got educated. And he was dwelling in the tents. He was getting educated too. And Yitshaq loved Asaph because he ate of his wild game. But Ribqah loved Yaakov. Right? So she got the word from Abba Yah, Yahuwah, of what will be happening in the future. She got that word that the older would serve the younger. She got that word that Yaakov was going to receive the inheritance. She knew. But of course, Yitshaq loved his son. He had his favorite. Not a big old tough rough guy. You know what I mean? So, and he was a hunter. He was of the earth and outdoorsman. And he cooked a stew. And Esau came in from the field, and he was weary. Now, if you look at the reference in the book of Yasher, he just come back from fighting a battle with the chosen favorites of Nimrod and taking Nimrod's head off. Okay, so, and he was running for his high. He was running with all his high away from the battle. He thought because he killed the sovereign of Babel that other men will be hunting him and seeking to hunt him, probably a better hunter than him. He covered his tracks. He got back home. He seen his brother. He was worried, weary. We don't know how many days he was on the run without enough water and food. He probably got water in brooks, but not food. And then he sees his brother right here, cooking a nice lentil stew. Verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, please feed me with that some red stew, for I am weary. That is why his name was called Edom. So they nicknamed him Red. Okay, they nicknamed him Red because that Edom is Hebrew number 123, and is Edomi. So if I go back here, and I click it, Edomi, or Edom. Yeah, Edomi. Or it could be silent, Edom, even though you see the phonetic sound here. Okay, Edomi, or Edom. Right. And we know it means, and of course, if you look at the reference, you would find out that it means red, ruddy red. 122. It's the root of 123. All right. So let's go back. But he was a hairy, rough guy. All right. Rough handling. And that was his name. Okay. Esau. He was Edom. So he picked up the nickname Red. Hey, Red. Hey, Edom. Praise you. But Jacob said, sell me your birthright this yom. And Esau said, look, I'm going to die, so why should I have birthright? Now, you know that starvation doesn't come but 40 days, after 40 days and 40 nights, physically in your body, chemically, as long as you're drinking water. He was running. This matches, that verse 32 actually matches. He was scared for his high. He thought the trackers, but they never found out. It's in the book of Yashar, all right? So, but no one chased him down there and came there intact, okay? Abraham had a run-in with Nimrod as well. So, and that's historically in the documents of the Chronicles of Yashar, okay? Is it not written in the book of Yashar? Okay, so, and he needed to eat. He needed to get his strength back. I'm presuming if he had to fight more, but no one followed him. He covered his tracks very well. He sold his birthright. Then Jacob said, swear to me this yom. And he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob, which is not right. Running from danger or not, hungry or not. Jacob then gave Esau bread and a stew of lentils, and he ate, drank, rose up, and left. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Sad, but true. Next chapter. Yah's promise to Yitsach. And there was a scarcity of food in the land besides the first scarcity of food, which was in the Yomim of Abraham. And Yitshaq went to Abimelech, sovereign of the Philistines in Gerar. Now you've heard of Abimelech. Abimelech means the father of all the sovereigns. Some people say kings, but I don't like to use that word. That's another secret society word for a fallen, for ing. It is actually a surname of that area of Europe, and a bloodline of a society. King, ing, all right? That's why when there's revolutions in Europe, in the old days, they would eventually get back their seed line back in. But so it's Abimelech, the father of all the sovereigns, okay? Sovereign of the Philistines and Ger. And we did the research. Last Parashat of Chayi, of Sarah, we found out that he had a lot of sons and daughters, and he was not only a father, Malak, of his own children, but all the other people around him. Okay, and you appeared to him and said, "Do not go down to Mizraim. Live in the land which I commanded you." Mizraim was very high tech, with its own energy source, pumps, water, and they could survive a little better famines. All right. And Yahuwah, he thought in his mind that he was going to explore the idea of going into Mizraim because by record, his Abba did it too. But Yahuwah said to him, "Sojourn in this land, and I shall be with you, and brakah you, for I give all these lands to you and your seed, and I shall establish the oath which I swore to Abraham, your father." So he encouraged him. It's not going to be like your Abba. It's not going to be like when you're a boy. It's not going to be like before the family has to go to Mizraim. No, I'm going to be with you this time. So, and I shall increase your seed like the kokab of the kokaim of the shamayim, and I shall give all these lands to your seed, and in your seed all the goim of the Eretz shall be baruched. Because Abraham obeyed my voice and guarded my charge, my commandments, my Torah, and my Torah. And it gives you a footnote, meaning Torah, plural for Torah, teachings, and the right rulings. So he's letting his son, Yahuwah is speaking to him and letting him know his Abba obeyed his voice and guarded his charge and the commandments and the Torah, all the right rulings. And Yitshaq dwelt in Gerar. And when the men of the place asked about his wife, he said, "She is my sister." Oh no, come on, bro, not again. This is like a cycle, a generation curse cycle of being scared, because in that area where Abimelech is, we don't know historically by fact through documentation, but you could get the idiom hints that they were probably men that if the wife is fine, they'll take you, your goods and your wife, or they'll take women right out of your yard to be their wives. They probably had a funny law. They could take them, try them out, pay the dowry, whatever it is. But when it comes to a husband, well, we don't believe in divorce, but if he's dead, we'll take the woman as their wife. They probably had some weird, freaky laws of this land, okay, of Gerar. So he says, and when the men of the place asked about his wife, he said, "She is my sister," for he was afraid to say, "She is my wife." Thinking, well, the word thinking is not in the original text. That's italics. "Least the men of the place should kill me for Ribqah, because she is good looking." She was fine, okay, basically. And it came to be, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, sovereign of the Philistines, looked through a window, and he watched and saw Yitshaq playing with her, horse playing with Ribqah, his wife. So Abimelech called Yitshaq and said, "See, truly she is your wife. So how could you say she is my sister?" Because he was probably fondling her, probably horse playing, rolling around and kissing and hugging, stuff like that. And he saw it from the window. And Yitshaq said to him, "Because I said, lest I die in the count of her." This is a repeat. And he knows that's his son, the son of Abraham, all right? Abraham and Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the people had almost slain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt on us." In other words, somebody would have took her, grabbed her, snatched her. And he says, you should have never done that. So they must have weird laws in that land. And Abimelech commanded all his people, saying, "He who touches this man or his wife shall certainly be put to death." So he made another law, a memorandum, an attachment to their constitution. This guy, stay away. All right. Verse 12. And Yitshaq sowed in that land and reaped in the same year 100-fold, and Yahuwah baruched him. Now, I want you to take heed to something. Yeah, it doesn't say how many months and years until they discovered that wasn't his sister, and he sowed land. Now, we know it takes a cycle of almost a year, 6-9 months a year, to make the cycle, all right, depending on when he planted and the season and what he planted, to make a cycle. So let's say 6 months. He sowed in the land. There was a famine throughout the lands. Even in this land too, there's probably a little bit of going on. They probably had some water, some things going on for them, all right? But he planted and he reaped the same year 100-fold, and Yahuwah baruched him. That does not happen immediately, to reap 100-fold. It takes a few years in time to bring 100-fold. In other words, not only he brought forth, but he has seed to separate from whatever he had to continue to bring 100-fold and continue and continue. And Yahuwah baruched him. And this was taken note. Imagine if you're a sovereign, somebody come into your land and you give them protection and let them be a gurim in your land, right? A sojourner, a traveling person that's not feels like a stranger, not a citizen. And whatever they did, they prospered. So you would take note of it, and there's a famine in the land. So that what got you really thinking. And back then, that this man was baruched of Yahuwah. And the men grew great, and the man grew great, and went forward until he became very great. So he exploded in his harvest. So we look at this word, and it is gadol, the same word we use for rabbi, gadol. Okay, gadol. That's the same word the rabbi is a great one. All right, great. It doesn't mean teacher. Rabbi does not mean teacher. You can look it up in your Hebrew. All right, it means a great one or great. So if you look at the second one, and that's 431 in Hebrew, gadol. There's gadol again. All right, but there's also 3966, gadol moed. So he became very great. The moed, there was like a position of a greatness, especially a repeated greatness, exceeding great, far, fast, good, great, louder, great, mighty, quickly. So it was very explosively great. So he was a gadol, and he was a Rabbaoni, because Rabbaoni means a great one, all right? Real big, great way. And it was done very rapidly, if you were to express it. That word, 3966, moed, okay, 26:14. And he had possessions of the flocks and possessions of herds and a great store of servants. And the Philistines envied him. So, something's going to happen. So the sovereign has to figure out what to do here. Okay. And the Philistines had stopped up all the wells which his father's servant had dug in the Yomim of Abraham, his father, and filled them with dirt. So the last time Abraham was there and used that area of land, it was a sojourn with Abimelech, and he had that incident about Sarah trading the money and all that stuff. This time it didn't happen. He ended up no one ever took his wife, not even Abimelech, because he already got schooled on that one. All right. But he put a seal of protection upon her that it will not happen again. Okay. And the land will not be barren, because at the time that Sarah was taken, the land became barren. Abraham prayed for him, and it was lifted, the curse, and even her barrenness was healed. But Ribqah was healed through the prayers of her husband. All right. She was praying by Yitshaq, and he prayed for her and stopped up. But there was locations where his Abba was, so he probably went back to the same location, redug the wells. Okay, he went to the same area, and Abimelech said to Yitshaq, "Go away from us, for you are much mightier than we." So evidently he went back to those areas, redug the wells. He prospered with water, and there was famine in the land, but the Father gave him 100-fold berekot, and he became a Kadol. He became great. Moad Kadol, a great one, like a Rabbaoni. All right. And so Yitshaq went from there and pitched his tent in the Wadi Gur and dwelt there. Let's look at this word. This is verse 17. So at 51, 58, we would call it a valley, but it's more than the valley. It's makal, makla, makala, and it is the sense of a stream. Original sense, a streams or stream, a torrent, a narrow valley in which brooks run, also a shaft of a mine, brook, flood, river, stream, valley. So they belittled this word by saying it was a valley, but it was a running torrent. I'm going to take a note here. It says, a shab, brook, narrow valley, a torrent in the winter. Okay? So the winter had a lot of water. So he was harvesting that water. Okay? And cropping in that area, probably knowing what season to do it. So it's very nice to see that. It's better than the word valley, because there were rolling hills, because the Gerar, as we look at that word, Gerar, a rolling county, rolling hills, rolling area. So you got these little, you ever seen that? I've seen that before, where there's a bunch of little slopey, it's not mountains or hills or nothing like that. It's little slopey hills. And then when the water runs, it runs all between it when it rains a lot. And it makes these torrents. All right. So praise Yah. And he dwelt there. So he knew where, the people probably didn't want to dwell there because they didn't want flash flood. But he prospered through it. And Yitshaq dug again the wells of water, which they had dug in the days of the Yomim of Abraham, his Abba, for the Philistines had stopped them up after the death of Abraham. And he called them by the names which his father had called them. So he renamed them exactly what his Abba called them. But when Yitshaq's servant dug in the wadi and found a well of running water, the herdsmen of Gerar, let me phonetically get it right. Gerar. All right. Strove with Yitshaq. The herdsman saying, the water is ours, and he called the name of the well Yitsach, because they strove with him. Let's look at that. That word actually is asik, strife. Hebrew number 6230. 62, see? Strife. Esek. Ahin. Sech. Yitsach. Okay. Let's go back. And they dug another well, and they strove over that one too, and he called its name Shitna. Hebrew number 7856. The opposition of accusations. Almost like what's going on with Trump consistently. Can't we get along here? And he moved from there and dug another well, and they did not strive over it. And he called its name Rehoboth. And of course that is a wide, broad place. Rehoboth. And said, for now Yahuwah has made room for us, and we shall bear fruit in the land. So he kept getting further out to get away from these little tribal people. I mean, tribal clan wars. Even though they're sovereign, Abimelech ordered people to stay away from, let them stay. They still wanted to hassle him. Okay? So, and from there he went up to Beersheba. Okay? Which is the well of the oath, Hebrew number 884. We learned that last Shabbat. And Yahuwah appeared to him in the same night and said, I am Eloha of your Abba Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you, and shall brakah you and increase your seed for my servant Abraham's sake. For the sake of your Abba. Wow, that's a nice contract there. And he built an altar there and called on the name of Yahuwah, and he pitched his tent there, and the servants of Yitshaq dug a well there. So they dug another well. And Abimelech. So you got to remember there was a drought. Okay. He gets there. He plays the little shenanigan again. And he plays the little game and said, that's my sister, but she don't get taken. He don't get no bucks for it. But he gets to stay there, and he gives some, go stay out there with the valley of the hills, and where the water rushes there with mighty torrents of water during a flash flood. Go stay out there with your Abba, your father, at the Wadi Gerar. Okay? And stay out there also in that place. So he goes out to that place. But he has to move further out because of the tribal conflicts, all right? The different type of opposition, accusations that are happening. So he spreads himself away from them in Shalom. And Abimelech, they knew, came to him from Gerar, knew that when he left now, a lot of that prosperity went with him. He knew that he was better off with him now, close and far, because instead of the famine taking the land, and they had to go to Misraim or somewhere to get grain and sell their stuff and buy grain to survive, wherever Yitshaq went, he was prosperous. The land became green as he's walking. The land became green. His cattle became strong and healthy. Everywhere he went, it prospered. And they knew that. They've seen this miracle. A lot of people are not, when they read this, they don't see a miracle of supernatural protection in the land of Goshen without even Goshen being around yet. Okay? And so wherever he went, he had this a bubble around him and his cattle, his people, his family, and everything. And wherever he growed and planted, it grew. All right. So, and there was a famine in the land now. All right. We don't know how long it lasted, but wherever he went, there was no famine. So when he left further, when Abimelech told him to leave, and wherever he went, that green pasture followed him. So this is a supernatural covering, a protection of the Berekat and the Berekat of falling from Shamaim upon Yitshaq. So you can pray that wherever you go, whatever desolate, wherever you go, if the land is, the Father has given to you this land, this is proof that the promise before he went there to Abimelech, when the Abba appeared to him and told him not go to Misraim, and that all this land I give you is yours. So even though they separated and said it was theirs, he knew in his lab, in his nefesh, that Abba spoke to him and told him, this is all your land, and for your children and children's children, forever. Whoever occupies and pays rent on it and uses it for now, that's temporarily, okay? So they came to make a deal with Zoth, one of his friends, and Pekol, the commander of his army. So there was probably a great pomp of army with him. And Yitshaq said to them, why have you come to me, seeing you have hated me and sent me away from you? So he gave a little puppy eye, a little conversation there. And they knew already, man, we can't let this guy get out of our area, because wherever he goes, there's prosperity and favor. Yahuwah is definitely with him. Look what he said. But they said, we have clearly seen. See this Pararshat? They have clearly seen that when they moved him out, it prospered. And he went further, it prospered. He dug a well, water came, they took it. Or they want to stop it. They went to another well, continuous opposition, strife, accusations, false accusations. He goes further out to stay away from the crowd. Probably like I said, the wadi, the area where nobody wants to be, because they could be flash floods there. Okay, according to the Hebrew understanding of the idiom of that word. Okay, so we have clearly seen that Yahuwah is with you. And we said, please let there be an oath between us. So they knew it. They seen it. They got a rude awakening that wherever he go, he prosper. All these lefties right now, the shin, they're not a shin, they're a sin. And they got the dot on the left. They're walking in the left. And I'm talking about you Jews out there, that you know wherever the left is on that dot, it is the word, the letter of the alphabet sin. And you're voting for that democratic plantation. And all the globalist agendas, with all the Jews that are a part of that globalist agenda, because they're a part of the Illuminati and all those occults and those banking system. But yet, there's a man that wants to build this nation up in the United States and prosper. And wherever he goes, he prospers. Whatever he plants and he does, he prospers. And so this is a great example. So Abimelech and his road dog went with him, his buddy, his friend. So there must be another millionaire. And also his commander general. They realized that wherever Yitshaq was, the son of Abraham, there was prosperity and favor. The land became green and all their cattle, everything was fine, even in the time of famine. He said, let us make a covenant between you and us, and let us make a covenant. They need to make a covenant. He said, I don't want Abba Yah to be upset with me for kicking you out. Okay? That you do now evil to us, as we have not touched you, and as we have done only tov towards you, and have sent you away in shalom. You are now baruch by Yahuwah. Twice he's acknowledging that Yitshaq, the son of Abraham, is baruch, and wherever he goes, there's a green following him. Right? Green follow. My mom used to say, they used to call my dad Green, because whatever he did, he made money. So they called him Mr. Green. That was his nickname handle. I never knew my Abba as Mr. Green, but I remember people calling him Mr. Green, because he planted, it became green. Wherever he did in business, it became green money. So wherever Yitshaq went, it was prosperous and green. This is when the Goy, the ethnos, the nations of the world see that you're prosperous. And even though they get tough and puffy with you, and you get at a distance and go to that desolate place that nobody wants, and now that's becoming a city. That's how Kadal he was. Okay, he was becoming a great one, fast, rapidly, because wherever he did, it prospered and turned green and flourished. All right, people don't see this in the Bereshit, in the Parashat. They don't see the miracle of the prosperity passed down abundantly. Another level, a second level, another level has gone up, more greater than Abraham, because you want your children to be greater than you. So he's inherited everything from Abraham, and once Abraham was put in that cave and buried, he received the prosperity abundantly. Okay, and he would prosper. Abraham, Yitshaq, and Yaakov, they prospered, and wherever they went, it prospered them. Okay, even when they were slaves in Mizraim, they prospered and made pyramids and cities. All right, so and have sent you away in shalom, and you are now baruch by Yahuwah. They acknowledged it. Oh, hallelujah. When the world sees us and they acknowledge, there goes a Baruch, man of Aloha. Okay? That man is Baruch of Aloha. He's Baruch by Abba Yah, the Yahuwah of the creator of Shamaim and Eretz. And he made them feast, and they ate and drank, and they rose up early in the morning and swore an oath with one another. And that gave Yitshaq some confidence. And Yitshaq let them go, and they departed from him in shalom. On the same yom, it came to be that the servants of Yitshaq came and informed him about the well which they had dug, and said to him, we have found more water. You see, so in other words, Father said, don't go to Mishrim to get water and food and all that stuff and grain. Just dig a well. Just dig a well, and the water would come. And plant the seed, and I will bring the crop. And that's a message to many of us. We need to go out and dig a well. Digging a well is work. Digging a well is labor. You dig the well, brings the water, plant the seed. That's more sowing out, right? Sowing and reaping. So he dug the well. That's labor. The servants did, all right? And probably cheered them on, did the prayer. And wherever they dig wells, even if they redug Abraham's well, water resurfaced. So he digged the well, water came. They didn't say, we dug 4 wells, we hit a blank. No. And it's Shabbat. And Shabbat in verse 33 is basically the Hebrew word for Shabbat is seventh. The word seventh, like the Shabbat. It's the 7th yom of the week of the Shavuot. All right, so it is the 7th. Therefore, the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. And that which we know the number is a complete number. 7 is a complete. And when Asaph was 40 years old, he took as wives Yehudith, good name, Yehudith, the daughter of Beri, the Hittite, and Pashmath, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite. So he took a couple wives from the local girls. And they were a bitterness of the Ruach to Yitshaq and Ribqah. These women were bad news. They were homegirls, right? Probably virgins, but they were probably wild things from the secular world of that area, of those tribes, those Goyim tribes. Okay, and it came to be when Yitshaq was old, verse chapter 27. When Yitshaq was old, and his eyes were dim, too dim to see, that he called Asaph, his elder son, and said to him, my son. And he answered him, here am I. And he said, see, now I am old. I do not know the day of the yom of my death. Now, then please take your weapons and your quiver, your arrows, and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt wild game there for me. And verse 4, and make me a tasty dish such as I love, and bring it to me to eat, in order that I may order that my his body, does brakah you before I die. And Ribqah heard when Yitshaq spoke to Asaph, his son. And Asaph went to the field to hunt wild game and to bring it. So now we're getting to the struggle. Now, you got to remember, Yitshaq, Ribqah, Esau and Yaakov were alive, were born when Ribqah was by Abimelech, horse playing in the backyard, and everybody thought she was fine and willing to take her. So she was well figured too, even though she gave her the 2 twins, and she was old, 20 years had gone by. She probably was 16 when she got the marriage ketubah, and so she's about 36, looking good still. So you got to realize this time frame that's going on. See, I heard your father speak to Asab, your brother, saying, bring me wild game and make me a tasty dish to eat. So she's going to choose some trickery. And Ribqah had a little trickery in her. But she remembered the covenant because the father spoke to her what was in her womb, 2 nations, and the, what? The older will serve the younger. She knew who was going to be the inheritance. Bring me wild game and make me a tasty dish to eat, and brakah you in the presence of Yahuwah before my death. And now, my son, listen to my voice according to what I command you. Please go to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats, and I make a tasty dish from them for your father, such as he loves. So she knew how to make the venison, even if it was goat. She knew how to go out, even though Asab was going to go out and hunt a favorite, whatever the venison was, whatever it was, wild venison. But she knew she could get goat and make it taste just as good and yummy, and he wouldn't even know it. Maybe throw a lot of chili hot sauce in there and stew it up, and he wouldn't even know. All right, verse 10. And you should take it to your father, and he shall eat it, so that he might brakah you before his death. And Yaakov said to Ribqah, his mother, see, Asab, my brother, is a hairy man. Right? Remember, rough, hairy, red, Edom guy, and I am a smooth-skinned man. And what if my father touches me? Then I shall be like a deceiver in his eyes, and shall bring a curse on myself, and not a brakah. Some people say berakat, but it's brakah. Okay, let me show you why. Let's play around. They say berekah, right? Berekah. For the Catholic Latin word blodosin. Blessing is Latin. It means blodosin. In German, it means blodosin. It means a blood ritual. Okay? Where they do the sign of the cross or they sacrifice children. Okay? Bless is blut and blessing is blodosin. Look at my video on YouTube concerning that. It says berakah. Berakah. Now you notice that the E here is high. The little phonetic E, meaning it could be silent. So berakah, you could say berakah. But Americans, Yehudi, or Messianic people will say berakah. No, it's brakah. The E is high in that phonetic sound. So when you say it in Hebrew, this is the bet. Okay? Berakah. Berekah, berekah. Okay, so it's prosperity. It means the word prosperity, that he would receive the berekah of prosperity upon him. He will not receive prosperity. He will not receive the inheritance of prosperity. All right, and let's go back. But his mother said to him, But his mother said to him, let your curse be on me, my son. Obey my voice and go get them to me. She already knew Yahuwah was with her to do this. It was kind of trickery. But I believe that Yitshaq knew. I believe he knew, but he favored his son. He just favored his older son. Because by the laws of the land, that was the heir of his firstborn son. But he already knew, I believe, and I'm sure Ribqah told him. And he went and fetched them and brought them to his mother, and his mother made a tasty dish such as his father loved. And Ribqah took the best garments of her elder son, Asab, which were with her in the house, and put them on Yaakov, her younger son. She probably took those garments. Here, I made you some new garments, man. Let me get those other ones and wash them, and just kind of stored them away, had them there already, or he grew out of them. Okay. Verse 16. And she put the skins of the young goats on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. So the young goats that they did the meal for, smelly young goats. They did them, and they wasn't washed and bleached and hung out to dry. It was barely butchered and all that. She took those young skins of the young goats and she put it on his hands. Okay, well, it was still soft. It can move around, not stiff. Then she gave the tasty dish and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Yaakov. And he went to his father and said, my father. And he said, here am I. Here I am. Who are you, my son? The voice didn't sound right. And Yaakov said to his Abba, I am Asad, your firstborn. I have done as you said to me. Please rise, sit, and eat of my wild game, so that your being might brakami. But Yitshaq said to his son, how is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because Yahuwah your Elohim brought it to me. So we don't know when he got the command, if it was the same day or on the next day. And we don't know how long it was going to take for brother to get back with the game. Okay, if it's all done in the morning to evening, or it went into the next morning, or we don't know the details of the length of time. Then Yitshaq said to Yaakov, please come near so that I feel you, my son, whether you truly are my son, Asav, or not. She knew his son was hairy, smelt of the earth. Smelly around goats, you smell like goats, right? My son, my spiritual son, Chuck in California, in Eagles Haven Ministry, back in California, they raise goats and sheep, and now they just got goats to mow the lawn, the 40 acres, something acres. You're around horses, you get that smell. You're around goats, I know. Start wrestling with them, you got to go in the house and shower right away. You're going to sit down and start to smell yourself as a goat, all right? And Yaakov went near to Yitshaq, his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is the voice of Yaakov, but the hands are the hands of Asa. And he did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like his brother Asav's hands, and he baruched him, gave him the baruch. And he said, are you truly my son, Asav? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me, and let me eat of my son's wild game, so that my being might brakayu. So he brought it near to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he drank. So he got a little tipsy there, okay, before he met him. Now, so he discerned, he questioned him from the moment he came in. He continued to question, he felt his arms and heard the voice. There was something about him different. Maybe his size, whatever it is, there's something about him different. But he knew the story, the secret they had. Because Yitshaq told him in secret. But it turned about Ribqah heard it. Okay. And his father Yitshaq said to him, please come near and kiss me, my son. And he did. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his garment. He had a little doubt still. And he smelled him and of his garments and baruched him and said, see, the smell of my son is like the smell of the field which Yahuwah has baruched. When my sons used to come in, they're all in the 40s now, but when my sons used to come in, now my grandbabies, when they go play on the ranch and I visit them, and they go out and play in the dirt, play in the ranch, and they come in all sweaty, come in all dirty, and they petted the goat, smell like goat. I always used to put my arms around my sons, my grandsons. I know you everywhere, anywhere. You smell of the earth and of the goats. And they would laugh and go take a shower. And I tell them, you smell good. And they didn't like it, but I told them it was good. All right. And Elohim give you of the dew of the Shamaims, of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. He said to give you even the dew. When there's shortness of rain, even the dew will come and water your stuff in the early hours of dew point of the Shamaims, and the fatness of the Arets, and plenty of grain and wine. And let people serve you, and the nations bow down to you. Be a master over your brothers, meaning the cousins, relatives, nephew, nieces, everybody, and even your younger and your older brother. And let your mother's son bow down to you. And let your mother's son, meaning he thought it was Asab, he said even Yitshaq was going to bow down to you. But it reversed the curse when he said it over Jacob. So meaning your mother's son, who? Asab, will bow down to you. Cursed be those who curse you, and Baruch be those who brakot you. Okay? And it came to be as soon as Yitshaq had finished Berikat Jacob, and Jacob had hardly left the presence of Yitshaq his father, that Asab his brother came in from his hunting. So he probably left the tent, walked away, and seen his brother come in hunting. He went ahead. He had to clean the venison, whatever it is, butcher it, clean it, gut it, do all that. So there's still a couple of hours of stuff going on. And he too had made a tasty dish and brought it to his father and said to his father, "Let my father rise and eat of it, eat of his son's wild game, so that your being might brakah me." Verse 32. And his Abba Yitshaq said to him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am your son, Ben, your firstborn, Asab." And then Yitshaq trembled exceedingly. He knew, man, that voice, about the size of the hands and the body, and those hairy and smelly and stuff. Verse 33, then Yitshaq trembling exceedingly and said, "Who was it then who hunted wild game and brought it to me? And I ate all of it before you came, and I have baruched him." Yes, he is baruched. He said, I baruched him, and yes, he is baruched. He probably felt the anointing, man. Probably felt the anointing. Oh yeah, I felt the anointing, man. I felt he is baruched. When Asab heard the words of his Abba, he cried with an exceeding great and bitter cry, and said to his father, "Brakah me too, Abba, my Abba." And he said, "Your brother came with deceit and took your brakat." And Asab said, was his name then called Yaakov? He wanted to hear the name, for he has caught me by the heel these 2 times. See, he knew the story that he caught him by the heel when they were being born. They were coming out of the womb. And he took my birthright, and see, now he has taken my brakat. And he said, "Have you not reserved a brakat for me?" Then Yitshaq answered and said to Asab, "See, I have made him your master, and all his brothers I have given to him as servants, and I have sustained him with grain and wine, and what then shall I do for you, my son?" He's saying not only your cousins and primos and everybody around this camp, but even your children, because they call brothers, they could be, brothers could be nephews and nieces and cousins and stuff like that too, because they're all next of kin. "I have given to him as your servants, and I have sustained him with grain and wine, and what then shall I do for you, my son?" Verse 38. Then Asab said to his Abba, "Have you only one brakat, my Abba? Brakah me too, Abba." And Asab lifted up his voice and wept, because he knew the anointing departed from his hands when he prayed for him. He knew it was transfer contact. And Yitshaq his father answered and said to him, "See, your dwelling is of the fatness of the earth," through that in, okay, "and of the dew of the Shamayim from above," okay, so you're going to get rain, all right, dew. "And by your sword you are to live." So he's going to live by sword, die by the sword, "and serve your brother. And it shall be when you grow restless that you shall break his yoke from your neck." But it's not going to change the Berikot, okay? Not going to change a thing. And Asab hated Yaakov because of the Berikat with which his Abba baruched him. And Asab said in his heart, the Yomim of mourning for my Abba draw near, then I am going to kill my brother Yaakov. At all, praise Yah, that did not happen. And the words of Asaph, her older son, were reported to Ribqah. So he must have ventilated going out the tent door around his tribal men, his family, relatives, whatever, the people around him. And of course, Ribqah had a handle on it. She had a handle of everything around that camp, okay, since Yitshaq was blind. Right, so she was living large in charge. She was hearing everything, what's going on. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, see, your brother Asaph comforts himself concerning you to kill you. He's going to buy time. And now, my son, listen to my voice and rise, flee to my brother Laban in Haran. Go to your uncle's house. Go to your uncle's house. I've heard that before when I was young. Go stay with your uncle down there in the desert. All right, you let everything cool off for a while, and stay with him a few yomim, and until your brother's wrath turns away, until your brother's displeasure turns away from you, and he forgets what you have done to him, and I shall send and bring you from there. Ribqah, what he has done to him, you got him into it, but you knew the promise. So praise Yah, things that happen that way. Why should I be bereaved of you both in one yom? And Ribqah said to Yitshaq, I am disgusted with the high because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife from the daughters of Heth, like these who are the daughters of the land, what is my high to me? You know, because they saw the way these women acted that Asaph had married. Okay? They already knew that. Chapter 28. Jacob sent to Laban. Verse 1. And Yitshaq called Jacob and baruched him and commanded him and said to him, do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take a wife for yourself from there, from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. And El Shaddai brakah you and make you bear fruit and increase you, and you shall become an assembly of people. Praise Yahuwah. Hebrew number 410 for El, Mighty One, and 7706, Shaddai. All right, Almighty. The Almighty, Mighty One. Baruch you and make you bear fruit and increase you, and you should become an assembly of people. Verse 4. And give you the brakah of Abraham to you and your seed with you, so that you inherit the land of your sojourners, being a goyim, which Elohim gave to Abraham. Wherein you art a stranger. Hebrew number 4033. Megor. We learned this a couple of Shabbat Shalom. Megor is a sense of lodging, temporary labad, an extension, permanent resident, dwelling pilgrim. So he's got a permanent green card, resident green card. He can work and stuff, but he's not an official citizen. He's still a stranger. Okay, can't vote. And Yitshaq sent Jacob away, and he went to Padan Aram, Laban's son of Bethuel, the Armin. I'm a wandering Amin, the brother of Ribqah, the brother of Jacob and Asaph. Asaph marries an Ishmaelite, and Asaph saw that Yitshaq had baruched Jacob and sent him away to Padan Aram to take himself a wife from there, and that as he baruched him, he gave him a command, saying, do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob had obeyed his father and his mother and had gone to Padan Aram. And Asaph saw that the daughters of Canaan did not please his Abba Yitshaq. So what did he do? He's going to remarry again. And Esav went to Ishmael, his uncle, his tío, and took Ma'alath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebuoth, to be his wife, beside the wives he had already. I'm going to stop there, and then I'm going to make a part 2 of this Parashat. So if people want to have the Haftarot, the Haftorah, they can. So I'm going to stop there, right now. Hallelujah. So this, you could go ahead and order the replacement theology. You go ahead and look at that. You go to that email address right there, and eagleshavenministry@yahoo.com, and then I will go ahead and give you, mail you with you. Give me your full address and name, and I will mail you a pamphlet. If you want a PDF file or a PowerPoint of the words of the replacement theology correction of the Catholic Latin words that even the rabbinical and the Messianic and the Jews are saying, then go ahead and I will email me, write me, and I will send it to you, or a PDF file. Praise Yahuwah. Thank you for watching me. This ends part 1 of the Parashat Toldot, and we're going to continue part 2 for the part of the Haftorah. Okay? Thank you for joining us. See you in part 2.